Today I am going to talk to you about why you should consider being a leader, even when you don't want to. This is the first tip I want to share with the people on my VIP lists, both on Telegram and Instagram. And I will make these videos here without editing, just the microphone on, baby here in the background, dog passing by. But because I have some content that I want to share with you, and I don't have a script, I don't have a plan, but I think they're important to talk about for those who want to start thinking about leadership. I'm calling this tip 0 because I want to include those who think they never want to be a leader, right? Those who look at leadership in a way, well, even with disdain, and say, man, I never ever want to become a leader. And why do people think like that, right? Why don't people want to become leaders? I see this a lot, especially among the younger ones, right? The youth today. Many people don't want to be leaders. Even in my generation, right? The millennials, there's a lot of that. And usually a person doesn't want to take on a leadership position or doesn't aspire to become a leader because they had weak leaders. They had bad leaders who generally didn't help in their career, didn't help in the person's development. In fact, they even hindered your growth, hindered your development, hindered you from getting a position, hindered you emotionally, hindered you materially, economically speaking, stole credit for your work, or leaders who were unfair to you, who undermined you, who denied you a promotion so as not to lose you to another department, for example. So, there are many examples of leaderships that were horrible, weak, bad, and many people don't want to become leaders because they think being a leader means being like that. They think being a leader means living like that. And at the same time, people are somewhat misled by the so-called Y career path. But I will get into that, into the Y career path topic later on. But you've had all these problems, right? With leadership, you've had bad leaders, and you simply couldn't see yourself in a leadership role because you associate a leader with a person who is like that. And on top of that, when you have a good leader, they have a lot of responsibility. They have maybe many problems there, headaches, and they can't execute the things they want. And I want to tell you that really, for those who have leadership as a vocation, some people are born with it. Even having it as a vocation, many people bury this talent, don't want to carry it forward because of the bad leaders that they had, right? But if you have it as a vocation, it's much easier for you to hear a speech and assume that leadership is for you. Now, if you don't think it's your vocation, I would like you to consider something. I would like you to think with me that most leaders are bad precisely because people like you, people like me, people who understand what weak leadership is, understand what bad leadership is, are not putting themselves in the position to do leadership work. They are simply waiting for good leaders to emerge or don't even believe they will. So, becoming a leader ends up being your chance to do something different. This is a call to become a leader, to make a difference, to improve things for other people. You may not have had a good leader, but you can be a good leader for others. And when do I think you should think more about this? I think that if you feel good, when you help someone evolve, when you help a person grow, when you help that person move from one career level to another, you should start considering leadership for yourself, because that's the kind of thing a leader should do, right? Besides delivering projects, besides being able to delegate, besides managing to do very complex things with many people, which are also pleasures of leading. But if you can find pleasure In helping people, you should consider leadership. If you have the desire to take on more responsibility and have control over the decisions of what you will do, you should also consider leadership, right? This calling, this desire to have responsibility, to deliver more, is also part of leadership. And if career growth is important to you, if money is important to you, it's also important for you to want to move into leadership. Why? Because even though there is this Y-shaped career path, the Y-shaped career is asymmetrical, right? You won't have a specialist for every 7 or 8 people, like you have a leader emerging for every 7 or 8 people. You won't have a principal engineer, distinguished engineer. Man, I recently saw that Henrique Bastos became a distinguished engineer at a company outside of Brazil. I think he's the only guy I know who advanced and became a distinguished engineer. He was a principal and was promoted. Man, I don't know anyone else. In over 20 years of career like that I know, that I've talked to, I don't know anyone else. It's a very rare position. It will appear for every thousands of devs. Now, a manager, a coordinator, a supervisor, they appear all the time. The Y career path is asymmetrical in the Sankisam in the sense that there are more opportunities for leadership. And there always will be, because you need a leader for every Mimbizo X people. Then there will be opportunities for you to become a specialist, a staff, a principal, those things. So this is also a reason for you to consider becoming a leader for your career, but mainly for everything I mentioned to you before. All right? Consider becoming a leader.